Ladies and gentlemen, it's time again for the Coon Prairie Ramblers. We're still circled up. We're still confabulating. We're working on it. We're picking them up and laying them down. We got KC in the Moonshine Gang.
All right.
Luke, the rebel without a clue.
Still here.
And the affable mailman right here. We're talking about camping.
We were. We're going to tie the if bomb into that. Are you ready for it to drop?
Yeah.
Here she comes.
Here we go. Oh, yeah.
Woo. That was good to the last drop.
That was 8.5.
Yeah.
8.5. What if, ladies and gentlemen, you could, we're going to stick with the camping theme. What if you could go back, assuming you've camped before, go back to a camping experience you had in the past? What would you go back at? Which one would you go back to relive, and why?
My most memorable camping experience was camping with crutches. I wasn't about to lose a, we had planned this camping trip, and we always did it in October, went up north to see the leaves, but I had just gone through an operation on my foot, so I was on crutches. But we went anyway. I thought, I can handle this. And it was the same day I was telling you about that storm that came through.
Right.
Because,
biblical proportions.
Yeah, of biblical proportions. I had to set up on guard because it was raining so hard. Our tent roof was collecting water. It wouldn't shed water quick enough, so it was puddling up on it. So I'd take my crutch. I was sitting in a camping chair, and I'd take my crutch and push the roof up and make the water go off again. And I did that all night, well, as long as it stormed like that. Well, later on, the next day, I was out on my crutches and going through the woods with my daughter, Audra. Somehow we got separated because she took turn that way, and I
came
was
to a fork in the road.
Yeah, and I
Did you take the fork?
Well, I stood there and looked at the fork for a while. Anyway, somehow my daughter got separated from me. I'm on crutches, and off in the distance I heard this, Daddy. And
Then you notice you're alone.
Way off in the distance, and I'm thinking, she's lost.
I am too.
And I yell,
I heard that.
I'm still at the fork. Well, when you're on crutches, you kind of, take it easy, and I'll just wait here a while,
Hop along the middle.
Anyway, I got panicked, and I started searching for her, and it was, it's quite a story. Anyway.
Well, don't let the sounds of your own hills drive you crazy.
Anyway, I finally made it through the woods, and I made it to one of the roads, the paved roads, and I was flying on my crutches. Well,
I like zoom in.
It's in the late fall. Yeah, flying.
Boogity.
And the leaves are all over the ground or on the paved road.
All the leaves are brown.
And I hit my crutch hit one of those leaves on the paved road and slipped out from under me, and my bad foot hit the ground. Pow! Oh, it hurt. Anyway, I finally did find her. She found her way to one of the pavilions, and
Pavilion? What kind of place you camp at? A pavilion.
It wasn't really primitive, but anyway, I could see that she was down there crying. So I went down the steps to get to her, and
you did it again.
I did it again. I went boomity boom down the steps. Finally made it to my daughter, and she told me the story of how she got lost and everything. And
she was messing with you. She wanted to see how fast you could get there on crutches.
And you would like to relive this experience? Why?
I'm telling you.
Was that one of the things you said? If you wanted to relive it? No,
yeah.
I don't want to relive it. But I have.
Well, you'd like to maybe relive it and do it differently.
I have.
Not be on crutches.
Not let your daughter wander off. Not be an irresponsible parent and let your daughter wander off. Not hurt yourself.
Sacrifice her to the bears.
Well, I would never go away on crutches and camp again. I don't think.
And not let your daughter wander off in the woods.
We had not let her wander off. I'd keep a sharp eye.
I keep a close watch on this heart of mine.
All right. What about you?
Well, I have just a ton of memories of camping with my boys, and we loved it. And we had, just a tent. That's all we had. And we would just go out for the weekend and leave it. We had no cell phones in those days.
That's right.
And, you left it behind. We weren't doing Facebook updates.
That was only 20 years ago that we didn't have cell phones.
We were totally incommunicado, and we would go out, and I had a nice tent that was from Sears. It was what they called Hillary
Hillary tent.
Clinton.
I hope not.
Sir Hillary.
Dude.
Sir Edmund Hillary.
Edmund Hillary.
That
It was-
Hillary.
yeah, it was.
Regular Edmund Hillary.
But it was very nice, big. You know, it had like a section with a
Separate rooms.
separate rooms on the side and all that kind of stuff. But we had
That's primitive.
tent. I mean, sleeping bags, and we'd build us a nice little fire out there. We just had a good time. And if I could go back and relive those times, I would love to. Just, I mean, it was so simple. The only cost was, you know, that initial cost of buying you a sleeping bag and some tent. And
That's it.
of course, we had special pots and pans that we used. Usually we just
For
kept,
camping.
for camping. We had the best time of our lives, and we were out, you know, where we could slip off to a little creek or go fishing or go around a pond and gig frogs.
That's a good memories right there.
We were the craziest thing. You know, you normally when you think of gigging frogs, you think of people on an airboat. I had a truck. It was kind of jacked up, and we could get in the back of that truck
And a
ride
long
around-
gig.
pole right around the back of the truck and gig frogs out the back of my pickup truck.
What's wrong with that?
No, I'd gig a bunch of them too. That got me hungry for some frogs.
Some gigabytes.
We got to quit talking about food.
Yeah.
All roads lead back to food, don't
Oh
they?
yeah. Well, we had some good ets, and we cook ribs out there, but you know the bacon, the eggs, and like I said earlier, just something about that smell in the air, the fresh air. You know, I think a lot of people don't even know what the fresh air is.
No. Or if you get out there in the middle of nowhere and away from the fire, you've never seen so many stars in your life.
yeah.
And the
Bazillion
sounds.
stars.
The sounds. I mean, all you're getting is the sounds of
Crickets.
crickets and bugs.
Well, why you're laying in that tent?
But that puts you to sleep. It's like a little orchestra going on.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, an armadillo coming through a palmetto bush can sound like Pharaoh's army.
Yeah.
Ain't a kid, boy.
It
yeah.
can scare you,
Be feeling around for your gun.
scare you to death.
Have you ever camped with when the cicadas were out? You know, the cicadas up in the trees.
Cicadas.
Cicadas.
Yeah. But they're not usually loud.
Oh well, I was in Missouri one time. We kind of like on somewhere close to Branson. In fact, it was just down the road from Branson. It was a camping area. It was a certain season, and they were just loud. But it wasn't so loud. It wasn't the kind of loud that would keep you awake. It
No,
would
because
put you to
it's
sleep.
it's such a
It was loud.
monotone.
Yeah.
I guess that's the word I'm looking
It's
for.
like it's orchestrated. It rises, and then it falls.
Yeah.
Then it's quiet. I think they all,
Right.
they got like a little band director up there. Then when it gets quiet, they all take a big breath, and they all do it again. It swoops up and it swoops back down.
Oh, yeah, they knew about that.
It's orchestrated.
Music theory. Yeah, they knew all
I
about
think
that.
so.
Speaking of bugs in Florida, when you camp out, you want to make sure you look for fire ants. Don't camp on a bed of fire ants.
First time I ever camped in Florida, I had the fire ants.
I'd rather have mosquitoes
No,
than
Joe.
fire ants.
Oh my.
Well, Brother Luke, tell us about Ocala.
I don't know there's any, well, a few memorable things up there, but we're talking about a memorable trip I'd like to relive. We were down at, on Rick Hill's property down there near Hull one time, me and some buddies back in the 80s, I think it was. We were sitting around talking and around the fire, and it got later and later, and they kept getting more and more bored. It was almost dead till I emptied got my pistol out and got all the 22 bullets out and threw them in the fire. While they were sitting there. You talk about stepping and fetching. I never seen them boys move so fast in their lives. They jumped up. Everybody run for the trees, run for the bushes.
I've never seen that happen, but I mean, except
Yes.
in the movie.
I
in the
did
movie.
that. I did
You
that.
did that.
But
Wow.
And you forgot, well, how many shells did I throw in there? And you're counting it and waiting for them to all pop or whatever.
But the bullets won't hit you.
That's
It's
what I was
the
thinking.
shell.
It's the shell, the casing.
The casing
Oh.
flies off of the bullet.
Yeah.
Any direction. You
Yeah.
don't know what direction it's going to be in.
But trust me, they will pop you good.
It would hurt you. You would have a scar. You get branded. You might be killed if it
Yeah,
hits you.
because they're hot. They're hot when they come out of that
They're
fire.
hot. They will brand you. Yeah, I did that one night. And the boys that I went with were still talking
How
about
old were
that.
you, Luke?
I was probably 30.
Old enough to know better.
Probably 30. I took some buddies with me, and they were
Oh.
picking them up, putting them down.
That reminds me of when I was a kid, we weren't camping, but just reminded me of this. And we'd take our bow and arrow and we'd shoot it straight
Oh,
up
yeah.
in the air.
Done that.
As high as it would go. And it would go out of sight. You couldn't hardly see it. And you got like 4 or 5 guys, and you wait to see who's the last one to take off running.
Who could stand
and you're
there
all
the
standing
longest.
there.
Yeah.
Waiting for it to come back into sight.
And then the truth be told, you're probably better off just to stand there.
That's right.
Odds are it's not going to turn around and come right straight back down. But after a while, you just can't stand it. You got to take
You're
off.
gone.
Run it all for all you. You're praying one other person will run, and as soon as he does, you can take off.
Another crazy thing I did camping before, and I'm not advocating this at all. Do not attempt this at home or a camping trip or anywhere. We'd be sitting around the fire, and you take a jar of, fill about half full of water and put the lid on it and put it in the fire. And see who can sit there the longest. And the water gets hotter and hotter. You see it start steaming. You see it start bubbling and boiling. All of a sudden, that jar just goes, boom, and that glass would blow for 50 yards.
Whoa.
All directions or whatever.
We used to throw cans of like hairspray and stuff in the fire.
Oh, yeah. Now, that'll get you. That's shrapnel. My sister got hit by that one time. We used to have a burn pile out in the backyard. There was a hairspray can and air deodorant can. She didn't know about it. And it popped and landed a piece of it landed right on top of her foot.
Batteries will blow up in a fire.
Good night.
I had some crazy camping trips. I mean, good and bad things happen, but I would go back and redo them all probably. I loved them. I love camping.
Well, you know, when you look on products nowadays, they have warnings on there, and you think, who in the world do they write these warnings for? Who is stupid enough to do this? And some are like, you know, you get a silica gel pack, says don't eat the silica
Don't eat
gel.
it. It's different with beef jerky.
Who would have ate that? Nobody.
Well, I
But
couldn't read.
the other challenge is like, do not throw this in a can of fire is a challenge to a redneck.
That's right.
That means, yes, I will throw that. But the thing is to have people with you and see who'll be the last one to run.
That's right. That's what makes
Test
it
the
memorable.
courage.
We've done all kind of crazy stuff camping. We still do it.
You do a lot of camping then, right?
I go twice a year at least.
Really?
But you don't
Twice a year.
camp in a tent anymore.
Believe it or not, I've tent camped all my life, and I just finally got tired of it. Getting too old and fat for that. So I bought a 1970s camper to put on the back of my truck.
Yeah.
And I got that on there now, and it's got me a bed in there. I mainly got it just for the bed and the storage space. There's no kitchen or whatever in it, and it's just for my stuff.
And you built your own portage on, I understand.
I did. I just saw it on Facebook. You take a 5-gallon bucket and you line it with a bag, and you take a pool noodle and you cut a wedge out of it. Then you slice the pool noodle lengthwise, and you put that on the top. And then you take the handle loose and you slide a roll of toilet paper down the handle and reattach the handle. You're good to go, literally and figuratively. That beats walking 100 yards down the road to the porta-john to the
that's a lot better.
vaulted toilets.
Worst thing about camping is hip pointers.
Hip pointer.
Because my mattress always loses its air and you end up laying on the ground.
Oh, yeah. I quit doing that. I got a mattress in mine.
Yeah.
Well, we're about out of time, and our week is shot here. We'll see you next week. We got 10 seconds, so
We got to go find some food.
we're going camping and go eat some food. We'll see y'all next week. Thanks for listening.